Hello everyone, I am Tania Martinez with Remax Real Estate Results. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what it's been like to own and maintain my own duplex. But before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe to this video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'm so glad that I'm able to share this information with y'all. So let's get started. So how we got into our duplex is a pretty interesting story. Really, we weren't really looking for one, but we thought if the opportunity came up that we would really want to buy a duplex. So one day we were just at the office, and a friend of mine was telling me, "Hey, I've got this client that is thinking about selling his own duplex. He's going to be doing it for sale by owner." And I was like, "Great, can we go see it?" So we probably got in there the day after, and me and my husband immediately were like, yes, we have to buy it. Let's go get let's go get pre-approved and make sure that we can buy it. So we got approved. Everything looked good. And then we were selling our townhouse at the same time because we needed to sell the townhouse before we bought it. So that friend was really gracious enough to wait for us during the whole process to be able to buy that duplex. So we're really grateful to this day that they gave us the opportunity to be able to buy the duplex and to just call that our home for a short while. So at the time, we didn't know this term called house hacking, where you basically buy a house or a multifamily unit to live in, and whereas in the house you would rent out the rooms, and in the multifamily unit you would rent out the other building. So that's what we were doing, and of course, guys, this came with a ton of research, and really we really worked at it for quite a while to learn all these new terms to make sure that we were doing everything the best to our ability. And basically, this is probably one of the cheapest options that you guys have to be able to move into a house or into an investment property without putting down that 25%. Of course, my luck, well, our luck, we did have to put that 25% down, but that's a different story that I'll share later. But to get into a duplex, really, it is really going to be the cheapest option, and it can be as low as 3.5%. There's not many zero down programs for duplexes, just because it is higher risk. Because, of course, if you don't rent out the other side, you're still liable for the whole rent. So right off the bat, the tenants that were living in there decided to move out. We were gonna have to raise the rent just because the rents had been a little bit low in that duplex for a little bit, and this is a common thing that most duplex owners are going to have to do is usually raise the rent, because sometimes they've been there for 7, 8 years, and I know it sounds very harsh on my end to say that we're going to be raising the rent, but the truth is, guys, that if sometimes the previous owner didn't raise the rent enough to bring it up to market value. And as a business owner, you're going to have to make those tough decisions to make sure that you're able to pay that loan, because the bank isn't going to stop charging you every month, even if you can't pay it. Yes, I do think it's like we try not to charge super high, but we do try to put in market value. One of the few things I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to really recommend, is that you guys get all new appliances in the duplexes. This is so important. A lot of duplexes have been around since the 90s, probably even earlier. So the appliances aren't really the best. So make sure that you guys try to get the stainless steel appliances. I see from my personal experience, I see when we're renting out the duplex, a lot of people always point out and say the other duplexes don't have the nice stainless steel appliances when they're renting. And sometimes they're willing to pay a little bit more to get those nicer amenities. So right off the bat, when the tenants that were living there moved out, we started cleaning up that side, making sure that it was clean for new potential people to move in. We did have quite a bit of trouble cleaning that side up because there was cockroaches. So, I mean, those are one of those things that this is not for the faint of heart. You guys are going to have to deal with bugs, gross carpets, a whole lot of nasty things like toilets and different things that you guys are going to have to take out and replace on a regular. Of course, you guys can have someone do it, but honestly, guys, starting off buying our first duplexes, we didn't have that many options, so all the work we had to do it ourselves. So make sure that you guys, um, whenever you guys are thinking about getting a duplex, have in mind the real picture. The real picture is not, that you're just going to be sitting here and collecting rents and using that to pay the mortgage. it really is tough things that you're gonna have to do to be able to really keep that duplex maintained and looking nice for the next people to move in. Another thing I'm going to recommend is that you guys get a home warranty. So the units we bought were from the 90s. So a lot of the HVAC systems, the water heaters were quite old. And yes, they had been serviced over the years, but one day while we were on vacation, of course, it always happens this way, I get a call from my tenant and the water heater just went out. So I called the home warranty and they were out there within 24 hours, and then they had basically replaced it all under a week. I think it probably took like 4 days. It was pretty fast, and my tenant was happy that we were able to fix it so fast, even though we were on vacation. So one of those little things. Yes, you're gonna have to pay a yearly fee, and then a copay every time you guys call and use the service. But it's a lot cheaper than having to replace that whole water heater. And of course, guys, just another little side note on that, we did have to pay for the water heater to be brought up to code, but that ended up just being like $200. So really, it's like a cost of $1,200 versus $200. I'll take the $200 any day. Another thing I recommend for you guys to do is find a trusted handyman. Honestly, guys, I can't count the number of times that our handyman has saved us from overly paying for a few items that we couldn't do ourselves. And honestly, so I have my handyman on speed dial, and I call him anytime the tenants have a problem with anything. Just unless I can't do it myself or the home warranty can't do it, I call him because I know that he's going to be out there fast and ready to fix the things that I need done. Because sometimes it's like if it's a loose step on a deck, I mean, that can turn into a lawsuit. So we have to be very careful about maintaining our properties and making sure everything is up to code. And I mean, there's always going to be little accidents that happen, and where you're going to need to replace the stove um, because the oven burnt out, or you're going to need to replace the ceiling fan that's not working anymore. Those are going to be some of the costs to owning and maintaining a duplex. So another thing I recommend is, and this is going to sound quite harsh, is don't become friends with your tenants. I mean, you treat friends differently than you treat coworkers, right? So I mean, with a tenant, it's the same thing. You guys are both working towards a common goal. On my side, I'm working on keeping the place maintained, clean, and in working condition, whereas they're working to pay the rent. And this is a business relationship. And of course, I'm not saying that you guys can't be friendly, get to know their family. I'm just saying that sometimes with friends, it's a little bit more difficult, and sometimes friends have it. Like being my friend, there's certain advantages that you guys may have compared to whether you're not my friend. And sometimes tenants can take advantage of that by missing payments or not paying the late fees on a payment that's late. So just be careful with that, and make sure that of course you're always professional, always nice, but make sure that you guys draw the line on where it's important. If you're renting to a friend that was a friend before you started renting to them, and you find that they're missing payments and things, just sit down and talk to them. If there's any problems with my tenants not being able to pay on time, I just sit down and talk with them and say, hey, so I noticed that has been happening for a few months, and really we're going to need it. We're going to need to figure this out so that way you guys can continue living here, because really we can't have the payment late every so often, and you should be able to have the same conversation with your friend. And really, I mean, it's you guys are both adults, and it's a way to work this out, because after all, guys, running a duplex is a business. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys have questions about something I didn't cover in this video, please make sure to comment it below, and I'll either answer it in the comments or make a new video depending on how many requests I get. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.